Fittipaldi on his first qualifying attempt of his first full season with the NTT IndyCar Series. You mentioned a word, confidence, a little bit earlier, something that you're trying to find in yourself and the car. How important is this going to be to put together that season?
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, it's my first time in a street circuit with the IndyCar. It's a super tough track. So just gaining the confidence to be able to, feel the car out more in the corners. And we've been making steps, from yesterday to today and then again in qualifying. I couldn't put it all together there in qualifying, but for sure, things to work on for the race, and I'm looking forward to doing that.
Overall, what's your assessment of the weekend so far? I mean, both practice sessions and this have been crucial to your learning over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been pretty chaotic and stuff, so now just looking forward to the race, having a good night's rest today, looking forward to making another step tomorrow. We knew that this first race was going to be tough. We only had 2 days of testing coming into here, and we knew it was going to be like a progressive learning curve here this weekend. So yeah, just keep working on it and maximizing a good race tomorrow.
Maximizing and progression for Pietro Fittipaldi. And I'm here with Augustine Canapino, just 3/10 out of it. You said this is the most confident you've ever been in this race car. It showed today, just not quite enough. Take us through your run.
Yes, only 3/10 off, but P10 in 1/10 off of the fast 12. So for me, it was a really good qualifying. I'm really happy with the progression with the team. Impressive. Really good job from Juncos Collinger Racing. Thanks for Ricardo, Brad Collinger, the whole team, Romain P2. So definitely we are growing. I am really happy with that. Of course, I will be angry with my lap because only 1:10 to the fast 12, but we are in a good position for tomorrow.
Take us back a year ago today. You said it's a night and day difference for you personally. So what's it like to come back to St. Pete?
Oh, definitely better. In all of things, it's totally different for me. It's completely different, and I'm really happy, enjoying a lot the second season. And now go for it. I want to have a better season than last year.
Augustine Canapino. Kevin.
Rinus Lundqvist will start 19th tomorrow. Not often you see a driver starting 19th with a smile on his face after consulting with Brad Goldberg. But your first weekend for Chip Ganassi Racing, how's the experience overall been?
Overall, it's been great. Obviously, a little bit disappointed in qualifying and how it went. Wanted to be a little bit further up than that, but we know it's a long race. I mean, just looking back at these couple of races, we know how crazy they can get. So we're going to try to play it smart and hopefully gain some spots on Sunday.
You're a former Indy Lights champion, but even for a former champion, are there pinch me moments when you're sitting in a debrief with Scott Dixon and Alex Below and guys like that, when a few months ago you had no idea if you would have a ride in IndyCar?
100%. This whole offseason has been incredible, and just looking back at kind of my path only 8-9 months ago, I had no idea that I would be racing, never to say in IndyCar together with Chip Ganassi Racing. So it's a pleasure to be here, but obviously, come weekends, you try to forget about all those things, and we're all here to fight for race wins and pole positions. Obviously, it's things not being able to fight a little bit better in quality, but like I said, hopefully we'll have a better Sunday.
Georgia, we've seen his willingness to drive it pretty aggressively in the race. Hope to see that tomorrow for Rinus Lundqvist.
Kyle Kirkwood is not going to be able to advance. One of those that is very quick on street races. In fact, won 2 street races last year. Got to get a hat for your TV interview. What do you think? You had a quick car, but you missed a little bit of time this morning in practice. What kept you from advancing?
Honestly, just out of sync on laps. For some reason, we thought it was definitely going to be lap 3 or lap 4, and it was 100% lap 2. So I just really didn't even put together a good lap because of that. Honestly, I don't know if we would have matched Colton there on his primary tire run, but we would have been at least transferred into it. So disappointed with that. It's just kind of misjudged it, I guess, across the entire team on that one, because we did have a car to transfer. I thought we were definitely Fast 6 capable, but field's tight. It's tighter than it's ever been, and if you make a small mistake like that, like not understanding whether to go lap 2 or lap 3, it puts you out of the top 6 there in our group. So unfortunate, but our AutoNation Honda's quick. We know that. Teammates are quick, so hopefully they can go for a pole right now.
This is bad for you, but it's good for us, the viewer and the fan, because there is a really fast car with an aggressive driver coming from a little bit beyond mid-pack. Can you get there in this kind of a race?
You can. You gotta push. Who knows what's going to be tomorrow? Who knows if it's 2-stop, 3-stop? That's always a question here. Got to see how the start goes. Obviously, last year is hectic, a lot of yellows. So with those yellows comes probably a higher chance of a 2-stop. But if history repeats itself like last year, when people see a lot of yellows the year prior, the next year is usually all green. So we'll see what happens. Play it by ear. We'll come up with a plan to formulate to try and, I guess we're, what, 18th then, or 19th, 18th? Yeah, we'll have to dig through the field. So we're capable of doing it. I trust in the guys. We're good. Our pit stops have been really good at the shop over the off season, so they worked hard with that. I've worked hard just visualizing, seeing what we need to do. Our car's fast, and I think this track suits us, so we should be good.
One thing that could be an advantage, some people think with a harder tire this year, it might be an alternate race. Kyle Kirkwood has an extra set of the alternate fire.
Tom Lundqvist out of the car. I talked to Jim Meyer. He said, good effort for this team, especially for your first time here. What were your biggest takeaways from that run?
Yeah, I mean, just step by step, really, for me. You know, it's my first time here. Obviously, the start of a new season in the NTT INDYCAR series for me. So much to learn, and I didn't actually get a proper run in FP1. We had some mechanical issues with the car, so you know, when you don't know the track and you're kind of one practice session behind, it's obviously very difficult to make up ground in such a competitive series. You know, it's so tough. And just slowly getting more and more comfortable with the car, with the surroundings. You know, I'm not obviously going to be happy when I'm, you know, down in these positions, but you know, if I can see the progress, obviously that's something to take and you know, be positive about.
Step in the right direction. Tom Lundqvist.
Callum Ilott is filling in for David Malukas, and he's had all of about an hour and 40 minutes in this car for Arrow McLaren. So P8 in your group, I would say that's pretty good. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's good. It's tough. Obviously, the series is super competitive, but we put on a good car. I think it's just so tight. Missed out a little bit. Of course, I've had a little bit of limited running, but you always want to be a bit better. So shame to miss out by a couple of places, but it's all right. We're doing a good job.
So you'll have another session tomorrow morning. When we get to race time, what is this experience like? Is it all about learning, or is it, no, I'm a race car driver, I'm trying to go to the front?
Oh, I'm a race car driver. Got to go. No, I'm sure we can put on a good race car. Qualifying, like I said, is super tight. I started from further back and finished quite far up last year, so I'm sure we can do a good job.
All right, Callum Ilott will be starting in a pretty decent spot tomorrow. By the way, confirmed with David Malukas, he is also going to be unavailable for the thermal exhibition race here in a couple of weeks, so maybe one more opportunity coming up for Callum Ilott. That is TBD. So still deep conversations here on the Arrow McLaren pit box with Alexander Rossi. We saw it on the track. One of the things I want to ask to Alex, and I think they're talking about as well, is whether he was impeded from one of his first push laps. Did the car in front of you impact your qualifying on the alternates, Alex?
Yeah, but I mean, that's IndyCar. I don't really want to talk about that part too much. Car feels good. I think we have really good potential. It's just a mess on reds. Like, it's frustrating.
Thank you.
He said, we've had our hands full in practice. Was it better in this session, though, Alex?
Yeah, it was a little better. We're close. Just needed a little bit more, but yeah. At least we found what we were missing this morning in practice. A shame that we couldn't really transfer on our first qualifying of the year. You don't really want to start like that, but anyway, it's going to be tough tomorrow to overtake. But yeah, it's about surviving and trying to get the best we can. The car is good, so yeah, we'll try and get that number 10 up front.
Alex Below will start mid-pack tomorrow, Kevin.
Christian Lundgaard is going to start 12th. I remember both you and Graham Rahal last year had some issues going into the race with braking. Any issues this year? What kept you from advancing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the last lap I did have a massive rear locking into turn one, which was basically what cost me this shot at that lap. But throughout the whole weekend, I don't think we've been competitive enough. There's been moments of shine. We haven't been able to put it together, but basically I think we've been 12th, 13th, and 12th in each session that we've done so far. So we're pretty much there in the middle. We're at the cut line. We didn't quite manage to get it, which is unfortunate, but it's good to be back in the 45 Hy-Vee Honda for another season.
There's another session tomorrow morning, a warm-up. Everybody approaches it differently. First race of the season, is it more about still trying to develop the car to make it better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think you'll see a little bit of a split in the drivers that have been driving all winter, right? So I think that's what makes it bittersweet at this point, because you see so many of them transferring. Obviously, they are in good cars as well, but you know, it's a bittersweet feeling, you know, not having been in the car all winter and having one day at Sebring and then showing up here, you know, expected to perform as we ended the season. I think is a tough task as well, but you know, that's what we really get paid for. That's why we're here. So it's good to be back in the car. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud for actually advancing through the first one, because I knew that was going to be tight. A lot of quick cars out there, so we made it.
Thank you, Christian.
A chat with Scott Dixon, who will wind up starting 11th tomorrow. When we talked earlier today, you said, man, this has been a hard tire to figure out and a little unpredictable. Was it any better, though, in that session, Scott?
I think Q1 went pretty well for us. You know, I think for us it's really hard to find the capability of the car. We push, hard. You push a little bit harder, and then you lose the front. So I think, everybody's fighting similar probably issues, but we just seem to be kind of on the outside edge of the box opposed to right in the middle of it, where some of the others are. But yeah, kind of started to catch power in that one, and then I should have aborted and then should have gone again and didn't, and just in the end just had way too much understeer to really put a lap together.
Is it one of those things, Scott, when you're learning a new tire where the edge is so fine it's easy to go over it and it's also easy to underplay it?
It is, but I think, when you're in the sweet spot, then everything's just easier. The car's way more consistent, it's way easier to drive, and, I think we've seen, some teams hit the ground really running this weekend. We've kind of been both ends of the spectrum and kind of clustered in the middle, I'd say, around qualifying. Kudos to Armstrong, with 10th there, but that was the best of our cars at the moment. So, I'm sure we'll work hard tonight, try and figure it out for tomorrow.
Still some work to do, Kevin, for the Chip Ganassi group.
Marcus Armstrong is going to start 10th. You were trying to find every inch of available track. Did you brush the wall a few times in round one and then still advance?
Yeah, I did. In round one, I was driving well, I think, taking the appropriate amount of risk. I'm pretty disappointed with myself in the second round. It's a shame because, yeah, I felt confident out there, and I'm pretty disappointed with my lap. But you're right, yeah, I touched the wall a few times, but this thing is pretty rock solid. You can't break an IndyCar, so I slammed the wall a couple of times, purposely, of course, but yeah, it's all good, all in one piece, and we can fight from there tomorrow for sure.
So what can you do from beyond mid-pack? What opportunities are there to move forward?
I believe we have a good race car. I mean, we were fast here last year in the race, and I've always felt confident going from quali to race with this Chip Ganassi racing car, the Ridgeline Lubricants number 11. It is always very well balanced in a race situation. So I have all the faith in the world that we're going to go forwards, but it's going to take me a couple of minutes to get over that average quali lap. But yeah.
Thank you.
One of them will not make the Firestone Fast Six. That's Will Power. Boy, halfway through that final lap, it looked like you were going to be a lock to make the Fast Six. What happened?
Yeah, I think the 60 was backing Scott up, and so he had to back up. So then I had to finish that second lap just to be 8th, and then starting my third lap on him. So he just was kind of hurting, so I just aborted it. But still, man, top 12, P8. Definitely race from there. Car has been really good all weekend. Certainly, man, you got to dig deep in these qualifying sessions. A lot of fun. But yeah, we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Very, very determined to have a good year and have a good race. So it's a good start. Anytime you're in the top 10 of this series, it's pretty good, or top 12. Yeah, would love to have got in the top 6. So tight, but good starting spot.
Well, how have the conditions been this weekend? It's warm here in St. Pete. First race of the year, always a challenge. Physically, how is it behind the wheel? Brutal, honestly. It's like a bloody sauna or a steam room. Yeah, you're struggling in the car, but it's always that way the first race. By the last race, you're kind of like, you're so race fit, you're good. That's the first time all weekend you've been digging deep, for hundreds, and you feel it coming in. You're like, get the air on me. But yeah, great series, man. It's so tight. It's really enjoy it. Will Power will start 8th tomorrow. Kevin?
VeeKay is going to start 7th, and Rinus, that was a monster run. And was that a product of off-season work?
It definitely was. The team put in a lot of effort. We've got new people on the team now too, and the group has become stronger. I know Team Chevy put a lot of effort in giving us more power, which I feel like that definitely helped. And I've also looked in the mirror and looked at myself and tried to find weak spots and things to get better at. And I mean, I think all those boxes have been checked. Of course, we thought we made it into a group to the Fast Six, but we did not at the end. But pretty close. I'm really happy with my lap, happy with the whole weekend so far. And I mean, I won a race the only race I've won was from P7. So that's a good omen.
You have been strong all weekend long. Where does this put your confidence going into tomorrow?
Makes me very confident. Honestly, I think I'm a better racer than a qualifier. So, as long as we can understand the tires and we can keep the tires underneath us, and I think we're going to have a great race. At least I have a lot less cars to pass, and it's nice to be ahead of the mess most of the time.
And Rinus VeeKay is going to roll off 7th tomorrow. Marty.
Romain Grosjean is going to start 5th in his debut for Hunko's Hollinger in a car that qualified, I think, 19th and 22nd here the last 2 years. So you didn't back up the pole, but in some ways, is this almost as satisfying?
It is very satisfying, but a pole is going to stay a pole. Last year one was very, very special. So this year I was hoping we could get into the Fast 6 after FP1, but I wasn't quite sure about it. We made it. I think the Fast 6. I had double upshifted on my lap, so that didn't help. We didn't have the speed from the guys at the front, but I think we could have been a bit closer. Anyway, I'm very proud of everything that's been done. I think Chevy's been helping us a lot going on the simulator and on track. The team has worked a long way since Sebring, where I wasn't sure we'd be top 10 in qualifying, and here we are. So, I'm very happy with that. So obviously, the race, when it counts, is tomorrow, but we have a good baseline.
So how far ahead are you? I think we all felt like we're going to need some patience here. Now it's reset. It's go try to get a win, isn't it?
I told you on Thursday, what's patience? It's a very, very good qualifying. I think everything clicked really well for us this weekend. I still think we have some work to be done, but I think the guys have a very clear idea of where I want improvement to be made, and that's what we're going to try.
Lee, patience is for people like you and me. Romain Grosjean and these people are race car drivers. That's not really in the vocabulary.
His first time qualifying with Meyer Shank Racing, and he puts it on the front row. It smiles all around. You just told me when you have the feeling, you have the feeling. So do you have that feeling?
Here, definitely. It's been a really solid start so far. Big thanks to Auto Nation, Sirius XM, Meyer Shank Racing. It's been an incredible start to us. Honestly, we're still, kind of biting ourselves a little bit, and we don't want to get carried away. Obviously, the race is a different challenge, but as I said, we had a feeling from practice rolling off the truck, and that's great. It's not often you have that, especially not when you're the first weekend with a new team. So yeah, big thanks to everyone. It's we'll see what we can do here.
How much does this motivate you for tomorrow?
Oh, massively. I think historically qualifying has been strong for me, so I still want to make sure we execute for the race, and I've been focusing a lot already this weekend to kind of start thinking about the race already yesterday, and what we could do with the tire deg and race pace and all that. So I'm still that's a big question mark because we haven't really done a long run this year yet. So warm up will be really useful for us, and hopefully we can be as quick as we are today.
By .006, Felix Rosenqvist is going to start on the front.
About that, what did you say to me yesterday when you said, what do you need to improve? You quickly said, we've got to get poles. Luke Mason, the engineer, you did that. Did you think it was going to come in race 1, though?
No, man. Gosh, I get jacked up every time I show up for an IndyCar race. It's like, it's an elevated level when you start out the year because you just don't know. You have no idea if you're going to keep coming back and producing results. It's very difficult. You saw how tight it was, and I didn't know that this would come today. I just thought, look, let's get through round 1, let's get through round 2, and then see what we can make happen in the Fast 6. So just really proud of this team. This is a rock star team. I love everybody on it. So I'm happy to be back. 2024 we start right with Team Chevy and PPG. And we're here to go after it every weekend. Qualifying and racing, completely different things, Joseph, but a big focus for Team Penske were the street courses in the offseason. What kind of sign is this today for tomorrow, maybe? Well, you have to give hats off to Team Chevy. They listened to every bit of feedback we had. They took a lot of meetings, and they delivered today. Absolutely what we were asking for, they made better all around. And it's not easy to do that. We asked for a menu of items, and they were like, okay, we're going to give you everything. You don't always get that every year. And I just feel like they knew they had to do even more this offseason, just like us. And I don't want to – Chevrolet did their part, but I think us at Team Penske, what we needed to do with our chassis, we did the exact same thing. So us together, I think we can have a really, really, really strong year. You did not get to collect one of these for the mantle this year, but you do this year in the first race of the year. Joseph Newgarden.
Well done, Joseph Newgarden, the NTTP1 award winner. Last year, he started 14th here. Tomorrow, he starts first.
And if you thought IndyCar was becoming predictable, well, guess again, because the top 3 drivers in the championship last year will fire off in 9th, 11th, and 13th. 13th. They factor nowhere in the top 10, James. It's going to be fun to watch some of that strength come from the back. We're talking about Dixon, Palou, and Scott McLaughlin.
All there in order there, in a row. Rows 5, 6, and 7. Row 8, all McLaren with Rossi and Callum Ilott. Big surprises back here. Kyle Kirkwood not getting the lap we expected, given where his teammates were. And then a slew of rookies headed up by Tom Lundqvist. Props to him for pulling out fastest of the 5 rookies.
Yeah, on that scorecard, Lundqvist absolutely delivering.